The accounting. You've now watched 5 readings take the same shots at the same text across 8 fields. This is the place a lesser book would tell you who won. This book won't. Not because the question doesn't matter, but because the whole point was to put the evidence in your hands and let you weigh it. So here is the tally gathered in one place. The adding up is yours. The full scorecard, every cell is how that reading fared in that field. Plain equals reads it without strain. Converges lands with the others, no real difference. Tension strains against a text it must hold. Falsified a text it cannot accommodate. The per-field receipts and the reasoning are in each chapter. This only collects them. Field, strict Unitarian, Arian, Modalist, Trinitarian, Memra. YZ, YT. 1. Seen and unseen, plausible agency, strained at worship. Tension, a creature called Yahuwah, worshipped. Plain, God appears as God. Rock solid, a divine figure appears. The sun, its NT reading. Rock solid, a seen mode distinct from the unseen. Full deity deferred to 4. 2. The crack. Plausible, strained toward more than human. Plain on distinction, strained on eternity. Tension, a figure beside God. Glory before the world. Rock solid, distinction exists. Plausible persons. Rock solid, distinction exists. Plausible within God. 3. The word. Plausible survives John 1:1, breaks at Heb 1:3. Tension, firstborn is preeminence, maker not made. Strained, the with. Rock solid, the eternal logos. Rock solid, source expression in the NT's own words. 4. Fully God. Tension, strained through. Falsified, Col 2:9, fullness of deity. Plain, fully God. Rock solid, homoousios, rock solid, full deity. 5. The emptying, plain here, paid in 4. Tension, pressed hard, the falsification was Col 2:9, not here. Tension, a son who petitions. Plausible, 2 natures, learned obedience. Plausible, 1 subject, no seam, residual shared. 6. The throned, strained, pre-creation glory, God's own throne. Falsified on promotion, John 17:5. Mixed, approach strange, resolution suits. Rock solid, economic restoration. Rock solid, restoration, not promotion. 7. The worship. Tension, idolatry charge fails given 4. Tension, a worship creature equals idolatry. Plain, 1 worship. Rock solid, 1 God, 3 persons. Rock solid, the Shema upheld. 8. The breath. Agrees, spirit equals power. Largely NA. Agrees, spirit equals power. Draw survives every proof text. Pressed by the OT silence, not refuted. Draw on the texts, the one field that divides. Which reading is stronger, the field does not settle. What the tally shows, every reading reads something plainly, and every reading bleeds somewhere. The cast rotates field by field. The reading that strolls through the subordination text, the Unitarian, field 5. Is the one pinned at the divinity wall, field 4. The reading most comfortable with 2 at the throne stumbles at the distinction. The modalist, field 2. The view that takes firstborn most plainly cannot hold the fullness of deity bodily, the Arian, fields 3-4. That rotation is the text refusing to line up neatly behind any one formula. The Arian reads firstborn, exalted, given most plainly, and the same fields turn against it. A made God cannot be the fullness of Godhood, field 4. Cannot be restored to a throne it never sat on, 6. Cannot be worshipped without idolatry, 7. At those points the verdict is the strongest on the board. Falsified. The Kenesis, 5, presses it hard as well. A committed Arian can still read form of God as exalted status, not deity, so it strains rather than dies. End of section. The Trinity reads a great deal plainly, and on the Son's full deity, the throne and the worship, it and the Memra stand together. Where they agree, they genuinely agree, and no difference is invented. Its one real strain is the kenosis, where nearly every subordination clause must be sorted between 2 natures the text never marks, hardest at learned obedience. The Memra reads many fields plainly, in the text's own Hebrew categories, and it bleeds openly at 1, the breath. Here is the field that divides the readings rather than scoring them. The Memra holds the spirit as God's own breath. The distinct person reading holds a third someone, and neither is forced off the hill. Every spirit-proof text lands a draw, none a knockout. On the text, it is a draw. That the breath reading is the stronger of the 2, argued from the Old Testament silence and the wisdom parallel, is a further judgment this even-handed field does not deliver, left for the reader to weigh. On this one field, the 3 one God readings, Unitarian, Modalist, and Memra, read the breath alike. The first 2, though, Each meet a wall elsewhere, the Unitarian at the divinity wall, the modalist at the distinction. Nor is the Memra unscathed before then. At the distinction field too, it holds the within one God reading only as the stronger not only one. At the emptying field 5, it shares the hardest residual, Mark 13:32, with the two natures view. 3 fields where it gives ground, even if none of the 3 is a text it strains against and cannot hold. And no reading escapes the vice. Under all of them sits the same unsolved thing, how the one God is genuinely distinguishable within himself, how the unseeable is seen, how the fullness dwells while the awareness is laid down. Every reading names that mystery, not one dissolves it. On that question, the honest answer for all 5 is Job's, hand over the mouth. What this accounting will not do, it will not tell you the answer. You have watched the same standard fall on every reading. You have the tags, you have the rotation, you have the one place each one pays. Tally it yourself. If you land where the historic church has stood, you will not have been argued out of it here, and that is on purpose. If you land somewhere else, the same. There is one thing left, and it is optional. Having kept his own conclusion off these pages for 8 fields, the author owes you the honesty of saying plainly where he came down and why, past what the text strictly proves. That comes next in 2 movements. First, a short chapter where he names where one set of hands landed, and then a second part where he lays the case out in full, no longer the referee, now openly the advocate, with the firewall named, so you always know what you are reading. All of it is his, not the evidence's, and clearly marked as such. Read it if you want to know where he came down. Skip it if you'd rather keep your own tally clean. Either way, the adding up was always yours. End of section.